We had a big weekend in Europe with coaches sacked in Italy and Germany. Barcelona get caught slipping.
Politicians with sex dolls and slots men keep rolling.
Let's dig in. Oh, man. We're getting better at that. We'll be professionals one day. Oh, man. Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Snooze. This is the No Business Soccer Podcast. And, of course, we got the full fam today. We have Danny P on the ones and twos. We have the Brainiac J-Fam here. And my boy, Hype Man Vic. Hype Man, what are you sipping on?
Well, I'm sipping on Still Lost in today. It's their blue corn. It's not the one that just came out. If you guys know, then you know. It's the 4-year one from last year. But it's absolutely delicious, and it's a local legend in distilling here in Austin. So cheers.
Cheers, sir. If I'm not mistaken, we went to a concert not too long ago, you and I believe you had me drinking some Still Austin.
I did, and you even got to smell a little bit, and it started opening up your journey there.
I know. One day I'll be like a cigar smoking, whiskey sipping man.
Yeah, just in time for your baby girl.
My baby girl. Yeah, exactly. Well, before we get the show started, we got a couple of shout outs we got to do. First off, the Brainiac J-Fam is here, of course, but it's his wife's birthday.
Hey,
we want to applaud him for being here during his wife's birthday. Happy birthday.
In trouble.
And also, got to give a shout out to our boy Luke, little Lukey. He said he wanted a shout out. So there you are.
Little
Lukey. Okay. Well, I think there's a few things we got to get started with before we go into the European reach around or the wrap up, whatever you want to call it. First things first, we have some Austin FC news to cover with our boots on the ground guy. So let's go to the Austin FC Minute.
And Austin FC have made some more contract decisions. They actually have declined the options on 5 of the players that had a healthy role last year. Matt Bersano, it's hard to start off with Matt Bersano and say healthy role. Sorry, Matt Bersano, Ethan Finley, Matt Hedges, Alex Ring, and Johan Valencia. If you've ever met Adam in your life and you play for Austin FC, you will probably not be there next year, apparently. So they are all declined on their options. That also includes Will. Oh, I forgot. He played for Seattle, but we went and had pluckers with him and
Bruin.
Nick Lima. No, Will Bruin. Yes, Will Bruin. And Nick Lima. We went and had we won some contests, and we got to play pluckers trivia with them too. And then they were gone the next season.
They were gone. Yeah. Now my body counts up to 4. That's weird. We have Will Bruin, Nick Lima, Ethan Finley, and Johan Valencia. I had met them all, shook their hands, and they're all gone now. So
the kiss of death for them.
Yeah, I know. Specifically, though, this is outside of the stadium setting. We've met a lot more of them on like the meet and greet stuff for the season ticket holders. But if you meet me outside of the stadium and you play for them, just be aware. So
yeah, we're gonna keep you away from Danny Pereira. Danny Pereira is up here. I saw him driving the other day, and I was like, "Oh,
whoa, hey, don't give it away! Don't give it away!
No doxing nobody. We're good. We're good."
I do want to say though, Ethan Finley, if you ever see this, we appreciate everything. You were awesome. You had a long run with us and through some good times, mostly bad times. But anyway, we appreciate you here, man. Take care.
That's right.
Okay. I think
that's about it for us.
Honestly,
yeah, it's pretty sad. Everybody else we kept. There's only one notable person was Hector Jimenez. We didn't extend his deal, but we also didn't decline him for next year. So he still has the option to come back.
Okay.
Test free agency, and we might offer him a rollback. But everyone else is staying. Danny Pereira got an extra year on his contract. Wolf got an extra 2 years. Little Wolfie got an extra 2 years. And Driussi's last year's next year. So, yeah, we'll keep playing. We'll keep seeing what else they do in the offseason. And hopefully Rodolfo has some more talent coming our way, because his boys that he brought in this year played a huge role in the second half of the season. And they're already like team leaders in assists, goals, and everything. So, yeah, we'll see what he does. He's got the rest of the offseason.
Yeah, when is the? Oh, I was gonna say, when is the schedule coming out? They're still playing playoff games right now. Golly, that's a long. That's a long postseason.
Obviously, has nothing to do with us, so we forget.
Yeah, obviously. Okay, well, I think that's it for the MLS and Austin FC. So let's head to the Wrexham recap. I almost said Ireland, but that would have been real bad. Wales was the word I was looking for. Okay, well, over this weekend, Wrexham get a 1-0 win over Mansfield Town thanks to a long-range Ryan Barnett goal. And we have some footage. Maybe we're showing some footage. I'm not sure. But if you watch the goal with me, you might have been thinking the same thing I was thinking, which is, what the hell are you doing? Because as soon as Ryan Barnett gets into a good spot, Super Paul Mullen chests it down, gets it directly in Barnett's path, and Mullen takes off into open space in the box. I mean, there's not anybody. I took a screenshot. There's nobody around him, and but instead, there's 3 guys around Barnett, and he cuts back into the 3 guys, and for some reason, he's able to get this shot off, get a goal. They win 1-0. That was the winning shot. Hell of a shot. If it went in, and it did, so it worked out. But at the time, as soon as he cut back, I was just thinking, wow, that you just wasted that shot. For a defender, like, get it to your boy and let him do his thing. But this win stops their skid of 2 draws and leaves them 3rd in the League One table with 28 points. Their next match is against Port Vale on Tuesday in the EFL Trophy. And then they'll actually be back this Saturday, 11-16, against Stockport County in League One. There's no international breaks for them. And there's, quite frankly, all the main leagues are on a break. So if you have nothing that you're doing on, I think it's at like our time, Texas time is 1:45, but yeah, you can go check out some Wrexham League One football. And there you have it. That's an update for Wrexham, United States team in League One. I think it's time to jump into the European reach around. What do you think, Vic?
I think so. And we'll start at the beginning of the alphabet here. So, to Serie A. Before you come after me, I know Siri starts with the F. All right, but I was talking about the A, City A. Anyway.
Hey, no, that's fine. Okay, well, let's start off in chronological order, as we always do here, the No Business Soccer Podcast. Thursday, Genoa's stoppage time equalizer ensured that they split the points with Como in a match that both teams needed to win. They really, really needed to win, but they didn't. They split the points. Friday, Lecce and Empoli, the milkmen of Lecce, go 1-1 with Empoli dominating the first half, only for Lecce to surge back in the final 25 minutes to almost just about get the win. They hit the crossbar twice, but it wasn't enough. They split the points, and Empoli and Lecce, they sacked their coach. There's going to be more sackings going on. That's a weird term. Saturday, Parma get their first away win of the season and just their second win overall with a 2-1 win over Venezia, another relegation scrap where both teams needed the win. This was Parma's first win since match day 2 back on August 24th. That is a long time ago. Good job, Parma. Milan draw 3-3 with Cagliari. And there goes that confusing freaking Milan team again. They were up 2-1 at halftime to a team that are 1 point above the relegation zone. That last goal was gross, though. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Cagliari fans went insane, as they should. And shout out to Francesco Camarda. I think that's how you say it. He was given the start for Milan at just 16 years old. And the only thing I can think is Pulisic is sitting there like, dude, come on. Like, we're Milan. Give me some guys that know what they're doing out here. No offense. Maybe he's really good. I didn't get to watch it, but I saw the highlights and he wasn't in them. So, okay. On to the Turin derby. Juve, they were there and they turned up. They dominated Torino on the way to a 2-0 win with goals from the American Tim Weah and the dude Kenan Yildiz. We've been telling you for a while now, he's starting to get hot. He's starting to turn that corner. And Kenan Yildiz is, he's on fire right now. Sunday. Atalanta continue their path of destruction as they beat Udinese 2-1. But please do yourself a favor and go watch Kamara's goal in this one. About the only bright spot for Udinese. It's a filthy and sexy goal, and I believe that's the exact way the hype man likes his women. I forgot you have like a fiance now, so that's not a good joke if she watches this. Arviola get a goal in the 3rd minute against Verona, and they never looked back. This one finishes Fiorentina 3, Hellas Verona 1. Moise Keane, or I used to call him Moises Keane, but it's Moise Ken, actually. Oh. Weird. Moise Ken, as it's pronounced, is on fire right now as he gets a hat trick in this one. Way to go, Viola. Bologna get a much-needed win in Rome as they beat Roma 3-2. More on Roma later. And our Lazio get into a scrappy 1-0 win over Monza. And as the wise man once said, points is points. In the main event, Inter took on Napoli, and Çalhanoğlu was the hero and the 0 for Inter as his long-range shot from got them level, but he then later missed a penalty that would have for sure won the game for them. This one ends Inter 1, Napoli 1, and I think Napoli are the happier of the teams after this one. Vic, where does that leave the table?
Yeah, well, the table is real tight up top, and it's going to be really good since Lazio got a win. They're able to stay on top, but total of 2 points separates first place and sixth place. But at the top of the table is Napoli with 26 points. Behind them is Atalanta, Fiorentina, and Inter Milan in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spot, all with 25 points. Our Lazio is at number 5 with 25 points, tied with them as well, fighting to get into those Champions League spots. And Juventus, we'll say them at number 6 with 24 points. That is just 2 points out of first place. It's really close up there. We'll stop there because there's a 6-point drop off from 6th place to 7th place, but really tight on top of the table. At the bottom of the table, it's really tight as well. I don't know how to phrase the competition that's going on down here, but 18th spot is our milkman, Lecce, with 9 points. Monza in the 19th spot with 8 points, and tied with them with 8 points is Venezia, but they still have but they still don't have their badge up. So I think they're just kind of preparing for getting relegated there.
They're never going to have that badge up. They refuse to have that badge up. Okay. Well, let's take a look at some talking points here. And I said last week that Milan, they're a lot like Dortmund in the Serie A. And I'm going to just go through. There's so much to talk about from this match day that I have a lot of talking points. I'm not going to go very deep. We're just going to talk about some of the things that happened around here. And so, like I said, last week, Milan they're like the Dortmund of Serie A, and they proved it once again. I've been confused by them all season. I think we all have been. I think this is just who they are. They win really big games, and then they lose a game they shouldn't be losing. Either way, they're going to have fun, and Pulisic is on the team. So, hey, let's do it. And on the preview, we said that Ivan Juric was coaching for his job with Roma, and he lost the match, and he lost his job. He was only in role for 2 months. And he went 4 wins, 3 draws, 5 losses. That's now 2 fired managers and sitting 12th place for Roma. Not good. Not good for one of the bigger teams out there in Serie A. Vic, oh no, your friend's a Juve fan, so he wouldn't have any. Okay, I would say he's probably sad right now, but he's probably not sad. He's probably happy.
Yeah, probably.
Atalanta and Fiorentina are on fire right now. They're kind of twins, though. It's funny. I was digging into this for the episode, but they both have currently a 6-game winning streak in the Serie A, and Atalanta have 20 goals for and 3 goals against in that span. 20 goals for, 3 goals against. Damn. And Fiorentina, they're not far off of it. They have 18 goals for and 3 goals against. Atalanta get Milan on match day 15, and Fiorentina get Inter on match day 14. And I'm excited to see whose streak lasts longer. I mean, both teams are on fire right now. They have these big games coming up. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one to watch, especially when you look at the table right now that Vic just showed, and it's just green across the board for these two teams. Of course, they played already, and Atalanta did win, but of course, that was the old Fiorentina. That's not the new Fiorentina. So let's see how they do. And then the other thing, Vic called it out. Serie A is very competitive right now. It's really cool to see at the top. 2 points separates first place Napoli and 6th place Juve. And this is the most that I've seen personally of Serie A in a while. Just watching the games in and out every week, of course, doing it for the research for this podcast. And holy crap, it's just been really, really cool. Hell of a time. especially, you know, us being able to go see a Serie A match, feel that energy. Of course, it was Lazio. And man, it's just a lot of fun right now. And I can't wait to see how this all shakes up. Vic, I think we should be a little bit biased to Juve since we know a fan we have a friend who's a fan, right?
Yeah, for sure. And we talk about him a lot. I'm pretty sure he knows a lot more about it. But if he hasn't heard his name yet, I hope he does. And
I know.
Matter of fact, Christian, if you're listening to this and you just tell me at some point, I'll buy you lunch this week. See if you're listening or not.
No, he's definitely not. I do want to see. I'm interested to see, because again, whenever we're talking about these teams, we're watching them from a very kind of zoomed out view, checking in on all the teams around Europe and giving you a little bit of updates that you kind of keep updated without having to dig in for yourself. But again, if you are a fan of, let's say, I don't know, Inter, and you know the ins and outs of them, you might know, you will know a lot more about the players, the tactics, everything that goes on day in and day out with those teams. So feel free to drop a comment or let us know what's going on with these teams, because again, you know them better than we do. And that is Serie A in a nutshell for match day 12. I believe we're taking a journey to Spain, Victor.
To Spain. Let's do it. To La Liga. So soothing. It's nice.
I know. It's the best. Gets me all chill. I'm ready to go. Okay. And we'll start off again, chronological. Friday, Las Palmas beat Rayo Vallecano 3-1, and now that's 3 wins in their last 5 matches. Check out Manu Foster's goal on this one. Just disgusting, just gross, which is awesome on this podcast if you haven't watched it. I think they were tired of Vic calling their points measly, and they started winning because they didn't want to have some measly points anymore, okay? Saturday, we talked about this one too on the preview, and yeah, I woke up for it. I did. I woke up for Vinny Jr. putting on a freaking show. He gets a hat trick as Real Madrid beats Osasuna 4-0. And what I really want to call out, though, is Bellingham's goal was the best, in my opinion. Out of all the goals that were scored, because I'm a guy, I like those chips. It's just like something about it is like disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like, like there's tons of options to score, but you're just going to like dink it over them and just kind of make them look dumb. It's the best. But this win came at a big cost for Real Madrid with a lot of injuries, a hat trick of injuries, if you will, and we'll talk about those more later. Villarreal beat Alaves 3-0 and didn't let Alaves get any momentum from their win last week against Mallorca. The Yellow Submarines could have easily put 4 or 5 past them, but it's just for that pesky offside thing that we play with. Espanyol and Valencia were postponed. Los Pepineros get their 3rd victory of the season against Sevilla. That's Leganes 1, Sevilla 0. And then on Sunday, Real Betis gets the late equalizer against Celta in the 94th minute to split the points in Seville. This one ends Betis 2, Celta 2. Atletico take care of business against Mallorca and get a 1-0 win. It's the curse of the flowers, I tell you, because just when we decide to give Mallorca their flowers, they lose 2 games in a row. And they're not the only team to be given flowers and then shit on them. I don't know. What's a good term for that? Yeah, sure. Girona get a 1-0 win over Getafe as they try to string some results together to build some sort of momentum. Girona, this is a good start. Let's keep it up. Athletic, you know what? This one's going to bother me. I always called them Bilbao, like forever. I've always called them Bilbao, but everybody, even online, it always says Athletic Club. So I don't know. Maybe they don't like to be called Bilbao. But either way, my notes say it here. So Bilbao and Vic's Voli Doli in 1-1 in a heartbreaking stoppage time goal for Bilbao. Any points will do if you're Valladolid, but that's now 3 straight draws for Bilbao. We'll talk about their struggles a bit in a second. Real Sociedad take down Barcelona 1-0. It was their first victory at home against Barca in 8 freaking years. So Barca really looked like they were missing Yamal out there. He's out with an ankle injury right now. And there was a very controversial offside. I don't know if we'll show it, but I probably won't because I forgot to prep Daniel with this one. Oh, Danny P. But just know that I don't know what the hell offside is anymore. Like Lewandowski looked like he was perfectly on. I mean, you watch that a billion times and never in a million years do you think that is an offside. But apparently like a something on his foot was, like the tip of his shoe. I don't know. I mean, how is that an advantage? How does that get called offside? Just watch it and you're going to be infuriated too. Not that I'm some kind of Barca lover or anything like that. It's just, you hate to see it. Like it's so dumb, because the root of the rule is to like stop someone getting an unfair advantage. And I don't know how a toe is an advantage. It's just weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, that offside rule and like the VAR checking reminds me of we'll relate it to the American part, football. Like John Madden one time, whenever we had the instant replays come up, somebody fumbled, but their knee was down a split second for the ball came out, right? So they called, no, he's down by contact. And John Madden was just so pissed. Like he was like, old school guy. He's like, back in my day, if you got tackled and you didn't come up with the football, then you fumbled. It didn't matter at one point your knee was down, your shin touched the ground or anything like that. And that I always think of that whenever there are these tiny little like fractions of somebody's toe offside or keeping them onside. It's like, man, just go with what was called on the field. Or I don't know. It's kind of hard to say whenever it's
crazy.
that close. Yeah.
Like if it's a shoulder, head, something like that, it means you're getting momentum. Like you're obviously getting an unfair advantage. But whenever it's like maybe a freaking part of their cleat, there's no way that makes sense. But either way, like I said, not a hater here. I'm just calling it out. It's been all over social media too, so I'm not the only one. But just to cap this one off, Real Sociedad do take Barcelona down 1-0. And again, first victory at home against them in 8 years. That's freaking awesome. So now, where does that leave us in the table, Vic?
Well, Real Sociedad was doing their best to keep the gap from growing on the top spot for Barcelona. Barcelona has 33 points in the number 1 spot, followed by Real Madrid with 27 points. Atletico Madrid behind them with 26 points, and rounding out the top 4 is Villarreal with 24 points. Osasuna knocking on the top 4 door with 21 points, but still got a little bit of work to do to close that out. And on the bottom of the table, you'll find Espanyol with 10 points. And with 9 points, my Volidolis, Real Valladolid, are in 19th place. I'm not going to count Valencia. They still have 2 games in hand. They haven't played. They have 7 points. But, they have 2 games in hand. Obviously, a lot of stuff still going down over there. So wish them the best, and we'll see how they land whenever they get to make up those games.
Okay. And with that, let's dig in to some talking points here. Let me warn you, I kind of had a lot of coffee whenever I was going into this first talking point for Bilbao. I was just trying to dig in, like, what the hell is going on? Why don't they, like, they play great in the Europa League, and then they don't look good in the league. Like I was saying, that's 3 straight draws for them. But do we have issues in Bilbao? That was the main question I was looking for. Do we have issues? After a great win in Europe on Thursday, they dropped points again in La Liga, and they've just gone 1 win, 3 draws, and 1 loss in their last 5 La Liga matches. So obviously not good. You want to get some of those draws to wins, but what's going on? Why is this happening? Well, in this one, they were missing both of their top scorers, Iñaki Williams and Wihan Sunset. They got to find a way to get Nico Williams and Guruzeta going as well. Guruzeta did score the winner in this one, or the equalizer in this one, so that's good. But Nico only has 1 goal and 1 assist in the 10 La Liga matches he's played. And Guruzeta, who was their leading scorer last season with 14 goals in 32 games, through 13 games this season, he only has 3 goals and 2 assists. So obviously, if we're looking at what's going on with these guys, why aren't they winning more? Nico and Guruzeta could be a big part of that. Especially, in this one, if Iñaki and Wihan Sunset were out, it's going to be harder to get that win. So it makes a little bit more sense with context. But on top of all this, their next match is the Basque Derby against Real Sociedad, which is going to be freaking awesome. They're coming fresh off that win against Barca we just talked about. And they do get to play at San Mamés, though, so it'll be home for Bilbao. We'll see how they can do there. And after that, 2 of their next 3 La Liga matches for Bilbao are opponents that are currently sitting in the top 4, and that's Real Madrid and Villarreal. So it's time to go. They got a derby. They got Real Madrid. They got Villarreal. I think they got Rayo Vallecano or someone like that mixed in. But either way, they got some tough games coming up. So let's get them healthy. Let's get them on the road. And let's see them get some results. And plus, like I said, we're a little we're a little shaded towards the Bilbao fans because Vic's uncle did live there.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you?
I still have slippers.
I was gonna say, didn't he give you like a hat or something?
Yeah, I have a hat, some slippers. Yeah, I might have got a shirt. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, we need them to pick it up.
Right.
Okay. And I already spent a lot of time talking about Mallorca, and they went ahead and lost 2 games, like I said earlier. But they have Las Palmas, Valencia, Barça, Celta, Girona, and Getafe next. And yes, I just keep rattling those off because other than Barça, who's the real test here? So yeah, there's a lot of teams that towards the bottom of the table. Girona, who are the mid-table team, they're not doing that well right now. So we'll see. But this is how they're going to get back, is this run of games against lower table teams. Out of a possible 18 points, I just rattled off all those teams on paper. I really feel like they could probably come away with 12 to 14 points. And if they don't, though, then they're not for real. Like Mallorca, they've had some slip ups, tough opponents, whatever. But Las Palmas, Valencia, Barça, Celta, Girona, Getafe, you got to get 12 to 14 points out of those games, because if you're planning to be anywhere up towards the top of that table, this is where you're going to start that run. Okay, the last one, the big one. Real Madrid have an injury crisis. They had to make 3 substitutes in the first half due to injury. Militao, Rodrigo, and Lucas Vazquez. Rodrigo, you hear I say that? Like some kind of accent, like Rodrigo. Anyway, Eder Militao, Rodrigo, Lucas Vazquez, all going down. Militao will miss the rest of the season. He tore his ACL, and Rodrigo and Vazquez are looking about a month out on the sideline with muscle injuries, but it's not fun to have them out because those 3 injuries are on top of Courtois, Alaba, Carvajal, Tchouaméni. They still have more than enough quality to get a bunch of wins in La Liga. Up next in La Liga, they have Leganés, Getafe, Girona, Bilbao. So, of course, they have some tough games, but nothing crazy. And I think the biggest struggle they're going to have is in the Champions League, because they're already down a lot of games. They've dropped a lot of points. And, yeah, you see Vic flexing. But their next opponents in the Champions League are Liverpool and Atalanta away. Both games away from the Bernabeu. So, it's going to be tough, man. How crazy would it be if a Real Madrid team doesn't make it out of, like, the league phase or whatever it's called? Like, that's crazy.
We'll see.
I think they could probably get points from Liverpool, but Atalanta, I'm just kidding. Just talking.
The only team that's won every game, but yeah.
But either way, Real Madrid, get healthy soon, because they're a fun team. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are happy to see them failing a bit, but when it comes because of injuries, it's not fun. So, okay. I think that is it for La Liga. I think I'm feeling a little bit like some bratwurst, some pretzels.
Some bratwurst. Yeah, you're right. To Bundesliga.
Yes, some worst fest.
Makes me want to sing and dance with a beer, man.
You get on the table and you pull your pant legs up and rock out. That's how he does it. That's how my boy Hype Man Vic does it. Okay, well, let's jump right into these matches. Give me 1 second. Let me get my notes here. Friday, we had Union Berlin and Freiburg finish 0-0. We don't talk about those here, but what I will say is Freiburg missed a penalty and Union missed all of their chances as well. So that's, that wasn't good for them. Saturday, Werder Bremen get back to their winning ways with a late winner from the Scot, Oliver Burke. They beat Holstein Kiel 2-1. Of course, we joked a lot about Leverkusen putting 4 or 5 past Bochum, and then they go to draw 1-1. Fantastic result for Bochum, but poor performance and result for Leverkusen. When the 89th minute equalizer went in, Bochum fans erupted. So cool to see. FOMO whenever you're watching it from the couch. Mainz beat Dortmund 3-1 after Emre Can was sent off in the 26th minute. The up and down season for Dortmund continues, while it's the first win in 4 Bundesliga matches for Mainz. So good on you, Mainz. Bayern survive against St. Pauli to get a 1-0 win on the road. I haven't had a chance to watch St. Pauli much this season, but I did get to watch this one, and I was surprised at how well they played Bayern. They were high pressed the entire game. I'm talking about to the last whistle. they looked really good. And this is another one we joked about, that Bayern were going to put, 7 or 8 past St. Pauli. But I think Bayern are used to playing teams that aren't as good as them, and they just sit back. The St. Pauli did not do that. That was pretty cool to see. They stood up to the bully. They lost, but it was valiant effort. It was a valiant effort. Leipzig and Gladbach went 0-0. Gladbach should have been 2 or 3 up in the first half, though, but they didn't, and they finished 0-0. Going on to Sunday, Augsburg and Hoffenheim also go 0-0. A lot of 0-0s in the Bundesliga this weekend. But Frankfurt beat Stuttgart, unfortunately, 3-2 in a crazy one where Demarovic missed another penalty. He missed one midweek when the game was 0-0. So get this. He misses the penalty. It could have been 1-0. You're like, God damn it, that sucks. Well, the floodgates opened after that. Eintracht scored 3 straight before Stuttgart started to mount a comeback, but it was too late. It was like the 86th minute. I have a note here. They actually did come. Well, Stuttgart came all the way back. They got all 3 goals, starting the first one in the 86th minute. The only problem was the last one was waved off for a very, very minute offside. It wasn't minute. It was pretty good. But the last thing I want to say on this one, was best game by far in the Bundesliga, in my opinion. But Marmoush is on fire. He scores another one in this one, and he is so good. He's not going to be on that team very long. I see him going past the winter window, but not past the summer window. Marmoush probably going to Liverpool or something like that. Okay, the last game for Bundesliga on Sunday was Wolfsburg. They got a much-needed win as they take home all 3 points in a 3-1 win over the Double H. So we're calling them Heidenheim. The first 2 goals for Wolfsburg really should have been stopped. There were goalkeeping errors. Vic, a lot like Vic in goal whenever we were playing soccer, just letting stuff in left and right is all his fault. And that's kind of how the Wolfsburg, the Double H keeper was. We really need to be doing better than that. Okay, Vic, where does that leave us in the table?
Probably left him on an island like y'all did all the time. The table. So Bayern Munich on top as well. As always, 26 points. Behind him is RB Leipzig with 21 points. Eintracht Frankfurt has 20 points in the 3rd spot, and Bayern Leverkusen has 17 points in the 4th spot. Also tied in the 4th spot, well, in 5th, is Freiburg with 17 points, just tickling the top 4, trying to get in. But if we take a look at the bottom of the table, you'll see Holstein Kiel with 5 points in the 17th spot. And despite their greatest efforts to not score any more points, Bochum pulled one off with a draw and now have 2 points to hold up the rest of the table.
2 measly points, or just like 2 points?
2 points. It's they're measly. They're measly points.
We need to have like a measly cutoff. You know what I mean? When is it not measly points? You know what I mean?
It was impressive tie, so I didn't want to completely crap on them. So
you get a good draw. Okay, it's performance based.
Draw.
That makes sense. I like it. I like it.
Draw.
You're playing good. Your points mean something.
Yes.
Draws. Yes. Okay. Let's jump into some talking points here. How many times can I say okay before I actually do the talking points? Don't spit your whiskey up. Hoffenheim is where we're going to start. And they sacked their American coach, manager, Pellegrino Matarazzo. Sorry, that's a tough one. Pellegrino Matarazzo. But yes, he was fired. They're 15th in the table currently with a record of 2 wins, 3 draws, 5 losses, and a 16 goal differential. With just 1 win in their last 6 games in all competitions. Overall, they're 4 wins, 5 draws, 6 losses this year. So if your wins are less than your draws and your losses, it's not good, folks. And apparently it wasn't good enough for the ownership in Hoffenheim. Their recent finishes in the Bundesliga prior to the season, they finished 11th, 9th, 12th, and then 7th last year, which was Matarazzo's first year in charge. So, of course, he had some leeway. But they just don't look good right now, and ownership decided to make a change. You saw the table. Hoffenheim are towards the bottom. You can't go from 7th to 15th in 1 year like that without making changes, because they're doing anything to just stay up right now, and it's not looking good. This is shaping up to be a fun Bundesliga season, and really it's anyone's guess on who's going to finish in those relegation spots and those. Well, probably Bochum. We can probably agree on that one, but other than that, it's pretty up for grabs, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, moving on to Leipzig. With Leipzig's recent struggles, 2 2 to 6 in the Bundesliga is a mess. Like this is crazy when you see the table. So yeah, because Leipzig was the team that we had pegged. I don't want to say I pegged kind of. I don't want anybody else's name to be on that they were going to be right up there. They looked really awesome at the beginning of the season. They looked really good. You can't blame me. But what happened since then is they've struggled. And now that leaves numbers 2 through 6 in the table in a freaking jumble and a big mess. Leipzig haven't won in 2 matches. Frankfurt are on a 2-game winning streak. But before this 2-game winning streak, they lost. They went 3 matches without a win. Leverkusen have drawn 4 out of their last 5 matches. Freiburg and Union haven't had a win in their last 3 match days, and Dortmund are inconsistent as they come. In the next few match days, though, we do get Dortmund versus Freiburg, Dortmund versus Bayern, der Klassiker, Union and Leverkusen, Stuttgart and Union, Frankfurt, Leipzig. So they're starting to play each other a lot more, so maybe things will start to even out. But they're not playing each other right now, and they're not doing that well. So that's why that table looks so congested up there, and so many, just a couple points separate everyone. But the real thing is just, the chaos is awesome. We're here for it. There should be a lot of movement coming up in the next few match days. And yeah, I want to see it. Let's go. The only thing that's pretty constant inside of the Bundesliga table is Bayern at the top and Bochum at the bottom. Is that rude to say?
Nope. If it was false, it would be.
Fair enough. Hey, well spoken, sir. Well spoken. And I know Vic loves sex dolls, so let's get to the sex doll talk, as you were talking about earlier. Also, apparently, a German politician resigned after posing with a sex doll with a St. Pauli kit on it. The bad part is the sex doll had the kit on it, the St. Pauli kit on, but also a noose around its neck and its forehead read "Shit Pauli." So the only problem was the S's were Nazi-esque, if you will, SS. And like, what the hell is wrong with people? Why would a politician decide like this is a good idea? I mean,
all that you said. The only problem is that the S's were Nazi-esque.
I mean, everything is a problem, but
okay.
I mean, if you think about it, though,
if
if you don't make the Nazi joke, whatever the hell, I mean, I don't know what you can call it at this point. If you don't do those, then it's just like a tasteless joke. But then, you put the Nazi stuff on there, and it's just like, don't do that. Like, come on. No, you don't agree. You say everything's wrong. Okay. All right.
Yeah, a politician was a sex doll.
Okay.
Like, if you had a think about it here. You see, we use Ted Cruz. It sounds like a Ted Cruz thing. Ted Cruz was some politician or some sex doll with the Detroit Lions jersey. I don't know, something like that. It's just like, okay, even if he didn't do the S thing, I don't know.
Fair enough.
For audience, sorry.
I was I wasn't I was not thinking like politician. I was just thinking in general, but you're right. Politician, probably, if you're in office, you shouldn't be posing with sex dolls of any kind. That's just, for good reference. It's just probably good practice in that role. Don't do that.
Good ground
anyway.
Rule. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Ground rule. There you go. That's what I was looking for. But either way, that's it for the Bundesliga. Those are the updates for the week. We're bringing it here to you guys. That's why y'all come to the No Business Soccer Podcast. And we only have one more league to do, Vic, so take us there.
Let's lighten it up, and let's go to the Prem. Sounds like a marching band.
I know. Yes. The Prem, England. Beautiful times over there. Let's get it started. Saturday, Wolves got the scoring started early in the relegation scrap with Southampton and never looked back as they won this one 2-0. And please do yourself a favor and check out Wolves' second goal. Cunha with a filthy long-range strike. I love to see it. West Ham and Everton go 0-0, and I can't remember, but I think Vic called it. Did you call it? It would be a 0-0. Like, I don't know why that stuck in my brain when I was watching.
Yeah.
Probably.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what I think right now. So
yeah, you're like, that seems like that seems like a thing that would happen there. But either way, that's probably good for Everton, bad for West Ham. I don't know. Those Bees of Brentford beat the Cherries of Bournemouth 3-2, and it was a fun one. Some horrible defending. Vic would hate it, but it was fun. I'll tell you that much. Fulham beat a 10-man beat the 10 men of Crystal Palace 2-0, and that's now 2 wins in a row for Fulham. Harry Wilson gets another goal, and all is right in the world for the Cottagers. The shocker of the weekend was, well, I don't know if it's the real shocker. There's another result coming up that I'm not happy about, but the shocker of the weekend was Brighton beating City 2-1. We'll talk about City in a moment, but just know that when the Brighton fans were singing at the end of the game, "You're getting sacked in the morning" to Pep, probably not a good time in Manchester City. Liverpool continue their great run of form, getting a 2-0 win over Aston Villa. As Vic says, Nunez should have had a hat trick. Like this dude, I've said he's overrated since y'all got him, and this was so ridiculous to me. The dude should have had a hat trick in the first half. But either way, he does get a goal here. Salah's on fire, of course. But my biggest question is that on that first goal, and Vic, maybe you could talk about this in a second, shouldn't that have been a red card? Like,
did he get carded at all?
No, I mean, I don't know. He maybe got a yellow, but like that's a red. That was a clear red. There's nobody. It was crazy. But let's talk about more of that in a second. On Sunday, Ruud van Nistelrooy's last match in charge of Manchester United before Amorim joins. The boys showed out, getting all 3 points against Leicester. This one ends United 3, Leicester 0. Garnacho's goal was just ridiculous. Go check it out. Newcastle takes care of Forest on the road 3-1, and another case of the flower curse. That's now 2 wins in a row for Newcastle. And the one question I have is, why does Forest sell so many tickets to the away fans? If you watch this game and you hear any of the noise that's going on, it felt like it had to be 50-50 Newcastle to Forest. Like, Forest, what are you doing? Cut back the tickets. I'm sure your fans would love to go see it. Maybe
they were even Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was saying they were even like up front. Like,
yes, they were behind the goal, like right there.
Yeah. I don't understand that. Yeah. That was crazy.
I can't believe that how many they had it felt like they had a quarter of the stands just specifically for Newcastle fans, which is like, I don't know if there has to be a certain percentage. I don't know how it works, but either way, it didn't look good. It's like you push those guys back. Come on. This is your home stadium. Okay. Ipswich get 3 much-needed points. I don't know why I started off this one like so happy. Against Spurs, who continue to struggle for any kind of consistency. This one ends Ipswich Town 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. And just a quick note, I'll talk more about this later because we're unbiased here. We'll talk about everything. But just know that it has been 22 years since Ipswich last won a Premier League match. And by golly, we gave it to them. Damn. In the main event of the Prem, we had Chelsea and Arsenal play out a 1-1 draw. It was a tightly contested one, and as some say, it was a tightly contested one, as some say. You come away not really thinking either team was better than the other. I felt like Arsenal, they were a little off today. I don't know, just felt weird. But what it does mean overall, even though we don't know, which team is better at the moment, what we do know is that Arsenal's title hopes are pretty much gone at this point. It looks like it's going to be Liverpool, and if City struggle anymore, they might not be in it as well. But either way, this one ends Chelsea, Arsenal 1-1. And I believe this table has been shaken up, and I'm not going to like the way it looks. Please, Vic, please put me out of my misery.
No, it looks absolutely beautiful because on top you have the Reds with 28 points, opening up a 5-point lead against Manchester City for the Premier League title. Manchester City having 23 points. And then a funny thing, coming from 3rd all the way down to 13th, there are a total of 4 points separating those places. So Chelsea and Arsenal are in the 3rd and 4th spot with 19 points. Tied also is Nottingham Forest, and Brighton and Hove Albion. Brighton. They they're in 5th and 6th, by the way. I don't know why I'm jumbling everything right now. But again, with 18 points, you have Fulham, Newcastle, Aston Villa in the 7th, 8th, and 9th spot. And then the 10th is Tottenham Hotspurs with 16 points and Brentford with 16 points. And then going all the way down underneath them, Bournemouth and Manchester United have 15 points. So 19 points, Chelsea, 3rd place, Manchester United, 15 points, 13th place. So close, but then you have a little break, and then at the very bottom, you'll see in the 17th spot, Crystal Palace, 7 points. Wolverhampton Wanderers have 6 points in the 19th spot, and the one who lost the relegation battle that we just had this week in Southampton with 4 points at the bottom of the table, holding up the rest of the table. And I think the table looks just great. I don't think you have to worry about anything.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you like that. Uh, you know, it's not fun to see that you're in 10th in the table at any point, which your team isn't, so that's cool. But what I will say is, because if Spurs would have won, which we didn't, but if we would have been in third. So it's just the table is so crazy right now. Obviously, there's a lot of games left to play, a lot of match days left, so we're just kind of following along here for the ride. But it's fun to kind of look at where we are and where we end up. But right now, it's not fun to look at. So we will start there while we're already talking about it. Spurs are just so frustrating this season. It's just been one step forward, two steps back the entire season. And they beat, like, for instance, here's how it's played out. They beat United 3-0, only to lose a 2-goal lead to Brighton the following week. They beat West Ham 4-1 and then lose to Palace. They beat City in the League Cup and then Villa 4-1 in the Prem. You're thinking, okay, this is where it turns. And then they lose to Galatasaray in the Europa League, and then they lose to Ipswich this weekend. So, like, there's no kind of consistency. There's nothing I can take from these. And I was listening to some podcasts about them. I heard that in the last 15 matches, they went behind. They gave up the first goal in 13 of 15 matches. They've now lost 5 of their last 11 matches, and it's really hard to pinpoint exactly what's going on. But I mean, consistently giving up that first goal is probably a good place to start. There's, like, let's not do that. Let's try that first and then go from there. The other thing is, we don't have a lot of, I don't know if it's the quality on the bench or what you want to call it, but whenever we're bringing on Timo Werner, it's like the dude, he has the skills, but he has no finishing product. He can get to the box, but then his crosses are horrible, or he's a building up play with the wing, the center forward, wherever you want to be. And he gets up to a point where he's the guy who's going to get the ball and he's going to take the shot. And then he just shoots it to the moon, wherever it doesn't matter. Every time he gets the ball with an opportunity, it doesn't matter if he's trying to assist or score. It just never happens. And I'm not just singling him out personally. I just think that he's kind of like the epitome of what's going on. Like, he is the kind of the microcosm of everything that's happening right now, where it's just not working for us. And I don't know why. I can't figure out what's going on. Defensively, we need Van de Ven back. The dude is awesome. I can't tell you that he's the best defender in the Premier League because he's not playing right now, but I do feel like that. How do you? Maybe Virgil van Dijk is okay.
Nah,
whatever.
He's at least third. Konate.
Okay.
Konate.
Oh, Konate. Yeah, he's having a great season too.
Is doing amazing right now. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my rant on Spurs. I could go on and on. We want to talk Ange Postecoglou. I don't know where we start there. Do I believe in him still? Maybe. We'll see. I don't think that sacking him is the right thing to do. Maybe if they lose 3-4 more in a row, which very well could happen because we have City next. We have Manchester United coming up in a League Cup game. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Let's just put it that way. But so far, not fun. That's what I will say. It has not been that fun of a season. And I forgot, we didn't go back to the Liverpool thing. So did you immediately think it was a red card for that first goal?
I thought so as well. Salah doesn't, I mean, he does flop, but like that one was like he was ahead, like he had no reason to flop. Salah would not have flopped there. He would have.
No, he's a one-on-one with the keeper. Like,
yes,
what?
He would have. Yeah. But I do remember now you said it during the actual broadcast that the commentator just did say that nope, the ref didn't see a foul there. He let it go.
Oh, okay.
And it was a funny thing because after that, whenever Nunes scored, my fiance was with me at the game. I was like, "That's crazy! He actually scored. He usually doesn't even hit the net. He doesn't do anything like that. He scored." And then a few minutes later, he goes 1-on-1 and absolutely misses the entire net. And everybody's laughing. Like everybody, I was like, "See, that's why they're laughing. It's because that's what he does. That's what he does." Yeah. But yeah, we got a goal there. So good. Props to him.
Yes, that was if he wasn't calling a foul, I guess that it is what it is. But And it looked like a clear foul to me.
Like
Dude had his hands all over his back. He goes down. There's just him and Nunez running into the box. So anyway, that makes more sense. I thought it should have been. I thought they didn't give him a card because it was a goal, and I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Like,
still
got to give a foul. Yeah. Anyway, okay, well that clarifies that for me. Now let's talk about the number 2 in the table. We got to talk about City's recent struggles. On the broadcast, they started off like as they were kicking off the match with this: 6 days have brought cup elimination, a first Premier League defeat in 10 months, and a first Champions League league stage loss in 2.5 years. Damn. And that is where they started the match. So, of course, naturally, you'd be like, okay, it's time for them to step up. But they didn't, as you saw a second ago, or as you heard a second ago. This is now 4 consecutive losses in all competitions for City. And this is the first time in Pep Guardiola's managerial career that has ever happened to him. But a lot of it's kind of similar to Madrid's issue right now. They have a ton of injuries. Right now, I mean, obviously, most importantly is Rodri, but he's out for the season. But they also have guys that are still coming back from injury. Some of them are available. Some of them are injured. But either way, that list is Akanji, Ake, Doku, Nunez, Oscar Bob, which is my favorite name, Jack Grealish, and KDB, Kevin De Bruyne. They're all working their way back to full fitness. But right now, they're not. I mean, even if they're available, they're not available for long term. Like I know that I believe Akanji was on the bench maybe, but he didn't really play a role. And these guys are people that are they're always top quality for the team when they're in it. It's the best way to put it. But they're not there right now, and so the team is struggling. The international break is coming at a great time for them, though. I think they'll be able to get things right. The really cool part is that they play Spurs next right after the break, so that'll be real fun for them. And then they play Liverpool away. So one easy match and one hard one, if you will. But either way, that Liverpool City match, that might be for the season. Like that, it could be coming down to that already with the gap that they're starting to break. What was the gap right now, Vic?
5 points.
So yeah, 8 points.
Yeah,
I don't see Liverpool dropping 8 points if they get to that point. So anyway, going to be a big one coming up, and City they just need to get healthy. Okay, and now we're going to talk about the other side of Manchester. It's a little bit happier there right now. Van Nistelrooy, RVD, or RVN. Why did I say D? RVD said that his goal was to hand over the team to Amorim in high spirits, and they haven't lost since he took over. United went 3 wins, 1 draw, 3 wins and 1 draw with RVN in charge, and that was 11 goals for and 3 goals against. So this was not the team that was playing for Ten Hag just a few weeks ago, and now they're playing like a real team, and Amorim is coming over on a high. On top of that, United play Ipswich, Glimt in the Europa League, and Everton as their next 3 opponents. Everton isn't an easy game. Watch yourself, Vic. After the international break, before facing their first real test in Arsenal on December 4th. So Amorim, he should be able to keep the good vibes and the momentum going with those games. Plus, he's coming over after his Sporting just gave City a pretty bad loss in the Champions League as a parting gift. He's already a legend just walking into this place, and it's just very far from the United that we saw earlier in the season where Spurs just dismantled them, and now we're looking at a team that looks completely different. They're playing differently. They feel differently, and they have a coach who we'll see. I mean, he took apart one of the best teams in the world in the Champions League with a way less superior as far as players go in Sporting versus Man City. So imagine what he's going to do with the budget and the players that they have at United. It doesn't always work that way. So I understand that, but I will say that he's coming into a good situation, especially because the hardest part, as even Juric will say in Roma, the hardest part is having the locker room that believes, and this team seems to be believing. Okay. Vic, anything in the Prem that I missed that you wanted to talk about?
No, I don't want to jinx anything. I think everything's going smooth just the way it is. I'm not going to touch anything. I think we're good. We're
Just
good.
leave
right
it.
there.
Just leave it.
Yeah,
okay.
just leave it right there.
Okay, well, we do have an international break coming up, and that means that we're going to have no club football until not this weekend. What's the date, Vic?
22nd.
22nd. Dang. And I'll have a kid the next weekend.
Ooh.
Maybe. Wow, that's insane. Getting close, folks. Getting close. Well, I think that's it, Vic. Let's you want to take us home?
Let's do it. Again, thanks for spending time with us today, guys. Let us know if we missed anything. If you guys want to see anything different, let us know down in the comments as well. First commenter, we'll shout out on the next one. On the next one we do, it's going to be a little while. We didn't plan that, sorry, but let us know what you guys think. Again, thank you for spending time with us. We will talk to y'all next time, and I'll see if we can get a little video out in the meantime for this international break. So we'll catch you next time. Later.